It's the Millsy and Keza show. Yay.
Woohoo! Guys, we're up to episode 3.
Time
That's
flies when you're having
exciting.
fun.
I know. We've
Did you
loved
know?
your messages of support. Keep them
No,
coming in, guys. Thank you.
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
we know we don't need external validation, but we do love it. So
Right?
bring it in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, oh God, I've started already with the absolutelys, for goodness
Oh,
sakes.
Carrie.
All right. Where's the swear jar? Where's the absolutely jar? I've got to start feeding it already. Did you know that when you're having fun, you know that how they say time flies when you're having fun?
Right.
That is actually collapsing time. And so you know that sometimes when you feel like something's only been like 20 minutes, but it's actually been 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
that's the amount of time you've actually aged.
Stop it.
It's true.
So when I'm in the zone, in the flow state, doing my thing, loving life, and I go, where's the time gone? I've
Hmm.
maybe aged 5 or 10 minutes instead of hours.
Yep. Isn't
Wow.
that cool?
That's pretty cool.
I know, right?
That's a
According to
really good reason to just, yeah, stay in that flow state for all
absolutely.
times.
Have
Yeah,
fun. Have fun. Oh, got to
have
feed another three
fun.
bucks. But yeah, absolutely. I honestly believe that having fun is so underestimated, especially us as manifesting generators and generator types in general as well. So for those of you who have not heard of human design, 70% of the population are generator types, and generators are here to work and to build and to create. And we are here to respond to things. So we will light up over certain things. So we like the worker bees, but it's the work that feels like play. So it's the
Mm,
work that you want to sink your teeth into. So you know when you something crosses your path and you're like, oh, I want to sink my teeth into that project. Oh my God, that'll be so much fun to create. That's how generator types work. So generators, manifesting generators, that's how they work. They get lit up over things and they want to sink their teeth into it. And when they are having fun, and when they're in that flow state, our sacrals, which is what we have consistent access to the energy of, when we're having fun and we're doing the things that we love and we're in that flow state of creativity and abundance and things are going really, really well, our sacrals are like big magnets. And when we're having fun, the aura of our sacrals gets bigger and the magnetism gets stronger, and then we start bringing in the things that we can say yes or no
yeah.
to. So it's bringing in the lessons, the people, the experiences, the situations, the events, the things that we need to keep our passion and our flow
It
state going.
raises our vibration and makes us more magnetic and more attractive to even more good stuff coming in. So it's
100.
this big the big circle of you attract, you become more attractive, you bring more things. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'll just add to that because my coaching background is all about the adult chair, and it's the so I do a lot of inner child work, and when you're having fun and when you're joyful, it's a very childlike quality, and it gets us back in touch with that inner child within all of us that just wants to have fun.
And
Now, just as
express.
you're saying that, I wrote something down yesterday. I've got it right here.
Yeah.
The average 6-year-old laughs about 300 times a day on average, whereas an adult will laugh somewhere between 15 to 100 times a day on average. So to be
Really
childlike
cool. Oh,
is just so, it's just a beautiful quality um, to emulate, to just be joyful, raise your vibration, be attractive and magnetic. Yeah, isn't that?
yes. And
And
just yeah.
it's anti-aging.
And it's anti-aging. Exactly. And
What's
like
not to love about that?
exactly. And what I was saying before, so Millsy and I obviously we have a little chatty chat before we jump onto these things. And I was saying to Millsy, be the energy you want to attract. So
Yeah.
when you are being someone who you would be attracted to, someone who's fun, who's light, who doesn't take themselves too seriously, who feels good to be around, like be that, because that's what you're going to attract back as well. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean to say like be incongruent to how it is you're feeling if you're feeling low, but always recognize where you are on
Yeah.
your vibration and make a conscious effort to kind of bring it up if you can, because you know what you put out is what you get back, is what we're talking about last.
Yeah.
So it's all interrelated. I love how when you get into this personal development world, a lot of people are saying the same thing, but they just say in lots of different ways, and it just depends on what feels congruent to you as to how it lands.
Exactly. And so when you say it in a way that resonates with you, you're passing it on to people that understand things the same way you understand something. So some people are very visual people, some people are more auditory, some people need to do things by demonstration. So by everyone having the same message but delivering it in a different way, you're just getting more people on board because we all have different ways of absorbing information.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Mm.
it, like, if something and someone resonates with you, or someone describes something in a way that's like, oh, and it makes you kind of lean in and go, oh, it's because like everyone has got a signature vibration. And when something resonates with you, it resonate like it resonates with your vibration. It's the same vibration as you, and that's why you're attracted to it, is because like attracts like. So
Mm.
you and
See,
you are massively gravitated towards me because I'm good looking,
well,
and
can you see how much I'm leaning forward whenever you talk?
that's
I'm like, oh, I better hang on. I better sit. No. So I always find myself leaning forward
yeah, and
when
well,
you,
it snaps of the truth,
because
doesn't
I'm
it?
attracted to you.
It's how can you, my big fat old sacral just keeps on breathing. I was hoping you were going to pick up what I was putting down there.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't leave you hanging.
No, that old dance floor move. That.
Oh, we just took 5 years off.
I know. I can't believe that adults only laugh like, what did you say, 60 to 300?
So kids, 300 times a day for kids, 15 to 100 times for an adult. Maybe it depends if you're watching a comedy show or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit sad,
I
even.
actually thought it might even be a little bit less than that. I mean, I would probably laugh 15 times a day at least,
Yeah, but
but
you're a funny person.
well, I am.
Yeah, it's that's not hard for you. Yeah,
There's some people out there which I doubt that they would crack a laugh, even a few times a
I
day.
know, right? I think we all know someone who just barely wouldn't know how to smile.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. It's a bit sad, isn't it?
it's a bit sad.
Very sad. Anyway, so how was your Christmas?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yes,
good.
really good. Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm
Yep. Kids
glad
were
to.
happy, had a beautiful lunch at my mum's. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, that's good. Yeah, we had it here at my place this year,
Ooh,
which is
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, usually my mum-in-law will do like the big roast dinner,
Yeah.
and we'll normally migrate to the beach house or her house, and she feeds us all day. But yeah, she was away for the first, a few days before Christmas. So I said, I'll do it. And yeah, I don't cook. So it was very much a barbecue, pre-bought salad situation, but very good all round.
Everyone got fed.
Yeah, everyone got fed.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, they did.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. But yeah, no, interesting Christmases, especially with an autism in the house. It's like you
Mm.
never quite. It took me years and years and years for my expectations to align with my son's, because my son, it gets very, like, he doesn't he gets too excited over
Mhm.
things, and he doesn't get excited about the things that other people would get excited about. So it's interesting when he got his presents this year, he didn't open them in front of anyone. He sort of took them away and he opened them up in his own room. So I don't know what it was. And then he filmed himself like opening them to
Okay.
YouTube video of it. And it's like, yeah, it took me a long time to figure out that like his Christmas and our Christmas are very different things.
They
So
don't look the
yeah,
same. Yeah.
no, no. But yeah, but that's okay. We live and learn. It's only taken 15 years.
Right.
But yeah, would love to hear if anyone else has got autism in their house. Any other listeners? What does Christmas look like for you? Is there anything
Yeah.
that you need to do to accommodate? And like it's hard to manage other people's expectations around autism and Christmas as well. Like
Mm.
for, grandparents and family members and friends and that, like they expect our kids to act the same as neurotypical kids, and it's like they just don't. So you have to
Yeah.
accept the fact that they're not going to go over the moon with excitement about presents like
Right.
most normal kids are supposed to. So yeah,
And everyone's going to look different.
yeah,
Every family or every case is unique and individual as
mm,
the child is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's all about remembering, like, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you,
Yeah.
parent. It's about the child and what they
Right.
can handle. So
And, and giving them the freedom to do what they need to do without
mm,
any compromise, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well done.
yeah.
You are the perfect parent for him.
Yes, well, handpicked by God, creation, the
That's
universe.
it. That's it.
All right. So what's
So, shall
our
we get into our
dilemma?
scenario? So, I
Yeah.
found one and I thought it was timely just because it involved a little Christmas scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll just read it out, shall I? And we can carry
Yeah.
on. So, this was from a 34-year-old female, and she married her 37-year-old husband a year ago, and his mum has always been overly snoopy and intrusive. My in laws excuse her behaviour, saying that's just how she is. Recently, my husband and I bought a new house, and my mother in law kept pushing for an emergency key. She promised she'd only use it in actual emergencies, but I couldn't trust her after she abused the key to our old apartment, walking in on us twice during private moments. My husband didn't think it was a big deal, but I did. So after she kept pressuring me, I gave her a fake key. She seemed smug when I handed it over, thinking she'd won. Fast forward to Christmas dinner. Mother in law angrily confronted me in front of everyone, accusing me of giving her a fake key. I asked her how she figured it out, and she admitted she'd come over unannounced at 4 p.m. while my husband and I went home. I reminded her that she had promised to use the key only for emergencies. I pointed out that her trying to enter our home without permission was a breach of that promise. She turned red, and the rest of the family started laughing at her discomfort. Suddenly, she stormed off into the kitchen and had a full blown meltdown, loud enough for the neighbours to hear. I've never seen a 60-something-year-old throw a tantrum like that. Dinner became incredibly awkward, and my husband and his sister gave me dirty looks. On the car ride home, my husband exploded, accusing me of lying, manipulating, and humiliating his mum. He said I ruined Christmas dinner and demanded I apologise for my childish behaviour.
God.
There we go. Juicy, right? Woof. That's the kind of family dinner we would all dread to be a part of, right? A
I don't know.
little bit dramatic.
Bit dramatic,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. So what's your take, Milsey? What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah. That's terrible, isn't it? I So a 60-something-year-old woman that's having the biggest meltdown tantrum that this person had ever seen. That's very interesting. So
Mm,
this mother-in-law has got no hold on her emotions,
no, no,
no hold at
absolutely.
all. But the thing that actually bothers me the most is in the car ride home when the husband then blames the wife for ruining Christmas.
Mm-hmm,
I'm sorry, that's a big
mm-hmm.
red flag for me.
Absolutely.
My take is you protect your spouse from your own family, right? So if the husband's not on the same page with his wife about the mother coming over unannounced and then turning it on her to be, that she ruined it,
Mm.
that's a big no-no to me. I'd be like, take your fake key, take your son and do better. And I'd be asking for an apology
Yeah.
if I was the lady there in question. I'd be
Mm.
asking for the apology. I'd really like to get my hands on that mother-in-law as a client. She's obviously got but no awareness is my thought. This
Mm.
this woman's got zero awareness, and
Mm-hmm.
as coaches, we kind of need people to be in the awareness zone,
Mm-hmm.
be able to start working on some issues.
Yeah.
And I don't see any awareness going on there at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, if we pair it right back to the beginning as well.
Yeah.
So her giving her a fake key in the first place, if that
Mm.
was me, wouldn't have even done that
Mm.
because A1, it's kind of out of integrity anyway. Yeah, she
Right.
deserves it if you want to be spiteful, but let's face it, it's a little bit below
Yes.
the line
Yeah.
because mother-in-law has already proved herself not once but twice that
Mm-hmm.
she cannot be trusted
Mm-hmm.
with the key. I mean, give her one chance, absolutely, like she might be just be curious or whatever,
Right.
but a second time that she, and goodness knows how many other times in between that she's gone,
Right.
they
That's
didn't
two
know
that they were
about.
busted. Like
And
maybe there was other times like this time that she'd
yeah,
come over
yeah.
unannounced and just
So number
sniffy
one, I
sniffy.
would have just
Mm.
set the boundary to start off with, been in integrity and just gone, you know what? I feel like I can't trust you with this key because you've betrayed that trust twice that we know of already. So
Mm.
I'm not going to be giving you an emergency key. The
Mm.
emergency key is going to be given to someone who lives close by who I can trust. So that would be the boundaries, and that would have, like, the cascade of events after that, none of that would have happened
Right.
if you had just stood in your value of your privacy and being in integrity to your own, when you're aligned in your own integrity by saying,
Mm.
actually, this is the boundary because
Mm.
we've given you the chance a couple of times, you've stuffed it up. So I still love you as my mother-in-law, but this isn't going to happen. So
Yeah, be a firm boundaries. Good one.
absolutely. So that's kind of where I would have gone straight away. It probably wouldn't have even
Mm.
crossed my mind to actually give a fake key.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a bit, yeah.
And then second of all, so when she discovered she had the fake key, and like, I think the daughter-in-law did a very good job. So the person who wrote it in by saying, well, you know what? How do you know it was a fake key then? And then she did, and then completely busted, 100%. So
Mm.
knowing that we can't change anyone,
Mm-hmm.
and especially we can't change anyone if they don't recognize that there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The mother-in-law going off, absolutely, as you said, she lacks awareness and understanding as well from an outsider's perspective looking in. Everything we do is a strategy, and we do
Right.
what we do because we get something out of it. So, mother-in-law's strategy has obviously been to barrage and like bomb her way through doing exactly what she pleases and not giving a fat rat's clacker about what anyone else thinks, because she mentioned that other people's family members were saying, oh, well, this is just how she is. So they've all just accepted her terrible behavior to keep the peace anyway.
Yes.
Because what happens when you don't keep the peace? She goes off and has a meltdown that the neighbors can hear. So everyone around her have obviously tried to be congruent with their own values and boundaries. Mum-in-law's gone off. They've gone, oh my God, we can't deal with this drama. So they've given in to her. So her strategy has worked because she's getting exactly what it is that she wants. Everyone else drops their boundaries around her because they can't deal with the drama that
Mm.
ensues afterwards. So mum-in-law's strategy is obviously one to create drama and have a fit so she gets what she wants. So strategy, well done, mum-in-law. Why on
Yeah.
earth would she change that strategy if it has worked for her for the last 60 odd years?
Right. No one's ever stood up to her by the sounds.
No one's ever stood up.
She's gotten her own way one way or another.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And if it's not by her sneaky ways, it's by a tantrum.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
people,
by, yeah,
yeah.
by dramatizing and barraging her way through everyone's boundaries, so they just give up.
Mm. Mm.
So that's number two that I would recognize, and I would recognize that's her strategy. Well
Mm-hmm.
done to you, but that's not going to work with me. So
Mm-hmm.
you can have all the hissy fits that you like in the world. Your behavior does not affect my peace.
Good
So
one.
that would be step two if I was daughter-in-law, and that's what happened. Then and then interesting reaction from the daughter or the sister-in-law and the husband,
Mm.
because they have obviously been on the receiving end of this terrible strategy, this unresourceful strategy that the mother does. And they have chosen to drop their boundaries and avoid the whole situation by giving
Mm,
in to her all the time. And it's interesting their reaction to the person who's wrote in boundaries, because they then know that they're probably going to have to deal with the fallout of their mother bitching and carrying on about her behind her back to them. So it's put them in a very uncomfortable situation. And that's why they're reacting to that, because they're like, well, you've just put us in a very uncomfortable
right.
situation for however long it's going to take for her to get over this, which may be never.
Mm. Sounds very codependent, doesn't it?
Oh, so enmeshed. But
That
yeah.
they've changed their own behaviors to accommodate the bad behaviors of someone else.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Mm,
so interesting. Yeah. What, what would, if it was to have gone on for that long,
mm.
what would your response be to husband in the car on the way home?
Yeah. Oh, I'd be really upset that he's not backing me up.
Mm.
Our home is our personal sanctuary, and to
Mm.
have someone breach that unwanted, uninvited through sneaky means, that's a real violation. I would,
Mm.
I'd be furious, really.
Mm.
And for me to feel that my home had been breached and that my husband didn't feel the same way about that and was going to not only allow that to happen, maybe he didn't see the problem with it. And I'm even wondering, it's just thinking maybe that's why this fake key came about, because the mum could have just gone to the son and he probably really actually would have handed over the key.
Quite possibly. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's a very good point too.
so
Yeah.
that's maybe she's like, well, if she thinks she has a key, she might,
Yeah. She's not going to
she won't ask
abandon
her.
him.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I'd be actually really upset that my private space had been breached, and
Mm.
that my husband thought that that was okay, and then
Mm.
accused me of being the, what did he say, the manipulator or the whatever it
Mm.
was. So,
Mm.
um, there's some boundaries there too. He needs to get work out his boundaries.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
there's, if he's, like you said, if he's gone through his whole life in 37 years of this, of that's been his normal, as
Mm.
as your parent, as that's a normal way for a parent. Yeah, he probably
Mm.
has some boundary work to do.
Mm.
Maybe he's feeling a bit unsure of how to proceed because he's never seen someone stand up to his mother that way, and the uncomfortableness. So he's expressing his uncomfortableness
Yeah.
by
I
going
think,
off at
yeah.
her when he really knows
Yeah.
this is really discomfort
Yeah.
within him.
His reaction to he's basically, I think what they call it is tension tagging. He feels really uncomfortable, so he feels the need to offload it through
Yes,
anger onto
yes,
her, even
yes.
though like 100% this woman is right. Like this woman
Oh,
like set the boundary and instead stood by it. It's so interesting. Like when you've done this work. So I've been coaching now for what, 2 or 3 years, and you've done this work. There is a level of ridiculousness in other people's reactions sometimes that I just would not even let get past my aura. And I think if my husband went off at me for that, like not to disregard his feelings, but I'd be like, really? Like you're angry
like
at me
you're
about this?
kidding, right?
I
Yeah.
actually don't think that I would even let it penetrate my peace, because it would be so ridiculous that he would go off at such a thing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm just like, could
Yeah.
you like, can you not see like is this really a thing? Like, are we really talking about
He's
this?
more upset that his mum's been offended than the fact that his personal home has been um, breached. Like it's,
Yeah, yeah, and he wants her to
yeah,
apologize. So it's classic people pleaser
right.
energy, because he's trying to please. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. Mum's the squeaky
Mm.
wheel because
Oh,
she's
yeah,
making the most noise. How do we give the oil to the squeaky wheel? We make the daughter apologize, and that's going to bring everything down. Everyone goes back to their roles. The status quo remains, and
right. So
everyone's nervous
unhealthy.
system calms down. 100%. But you know what? I think mum-in-law's cage needed to be rattled.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so sometimes we kind of need the spotlight on our bad behavior, but as I say, if everyone around her is enabling it,
Yeah.
and if this strategy of her creating drama gets her what she wants, then why on earth would she create it? And oftentimes, like when they're not getting what they want, people's behavior is going to escalate before it
Mm-hmm.
de-escalates. So this is her escalating. If that daughter-in-law stood firm, just said, it's not happening. And I'd be
Mm-hmm.
saying to my husband very firmly, do not give her a key. Otherwise, we are going to have a problem. And you do not want that either. Um, yeah, you just stand firm. Like this is not worth your peace to be in your house, sleeping in your bed, waking up and seeing your mother-in-law looking over you like bloody what's her face out of Misery.
Yeah.
What's it, Annie Wilkes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wilkes in Misery. Oh my goodness. So that's what I would do. But like I would, if I was being my best and highest self in the car ride home, and my husband
Mm.
was, if I was being my best and highest self, if I wasn't laughing at his
And
complete
let's face
stuff.
it, it would be very easy to take the route of our ego, adolescent, and
Oh,
it would be
yeah,
super easy to do that. So the
absolutely.
whole grounding, coming back to yourself, breathing through it,
Mm-hmm,
putting up your protective layer and not letting things enter your field is
mm-hmm,
so helpful. But that's
mm-hmm.
also a little bit advanced for some people that have never heard of this stuff before.
Absolutely.
And
Yep, 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 yep.
um, it's kind of why anger is our first step. I think we sort of talked about that a bit last week. Is
Yep.
but then anger is such an umbrella for so many other emotions that's
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of the go-to one, but it's not what's really going on
Yeah.
underneath.
Absolutely. And like the
There's
the husband
yeah,
and the sister-in-law, obviously they were angry because they knew the fallout that was going to ensue
right,
from
and
that
that
one.
they'd be copying it. Yeah,
Absolutely. But
yeah,
yeah, the if I was being my best and high self in the car,
yes,
I would validate said husband's
mm-hmm.
anger and discomfort. I would say, I understand that you're angry because your peace has been disrupted by your mother's, let's face it, pretty terrible behavior. So I empathize with your discomfort because I can see how it's affecting you.
Mm,
But I feel that our privacy and my peace of mind is at stake if my mother in law, who has no boundaries around this, has a key. I do not want to feel like I need to look over my shoulder in my own home. She has proven herself twice that we know of that she can't be trusted with a key to not just pop over. Like, what is she hoping to find? Like, what's her motivation behind needing this key and just popping over and catching us in intimate moments? Like, it's none of
yeah,
her
it's
business.
snooping.
We're
Yeah.
37 and 35 years old. We only need someone close by if we lock ourselves out. That's pretty much all we need someone else to have a spare key for. And so, what I need from you is to breathe through the discomfort that you're feeling right now, my love.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry that I was the cause of it, or that I'd stood my ground. But your mum's behavior is unacceptable, and she is not getting a key to my house, and that's my boundary. So that if I was being my best and highest self,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I would approach the third tier of the problem. So
Yeah.
so first thing, I would never give her the fake key in the first place, and I
Right.
would set the boundary as from the get-go. Second of all, yeah, mother-in-law's behavior is a strategy. We do what we do because it works for us on some level. Her behavior is terrible. I wouldn't even let that ridiculousness
Mm,
into my aura. And maybe I would go in there and say, I am sorry you're upset, but this is how it's going to be.
mm.
Because her reaction to your boundary, not your business. And she's proved herself. If she could prove herself trustworthy, give her the damn key. But she can't, so you don't. And then yeah, conversation on the way home. I'd say I recognize your discomfort. Sorry it's happened to you, but this is my boundary. I feel so always go to the
Yes.
formula for confrontation. I feel she can't be trusted with a key because she has proven that she can't be trusted twice before that we know of. And I don't want to be looking over my shoulder in my own home. what I need from you is to support me in this, because I know you don't want to be, going at it on the couch and then having our mother and, having your mum looking over us. Like, do you want that? So yeah. So support me or don't, but at least I know where I stand, and that's moving forward. What does that mean for us?
Mm.
That's what I would do.
Sounds perfect. Yeah. Would you do it in the car ride on the way home? He feels very worked up, or just a conversation for the next day, or when
That's
the emotions have calmed?
that's a very, very good point,
Mm,
because when our heart rates are over 100,
yeah.
our prefrontal cortex is going and going into our amygdala, which is our
Yes.
survival instinct,
Yes.
and we are not doing and saying things from our higher self in those
Yeah.
moments. So yeah, very good point, Millsy. Yes. So
The
you
whole fight or flight thing, he's obviously in fight mode.
100%.
Her strategy at this point might just be, okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Yeah. Just say, I understand
And
you're
when
angry right
he's
now.
calmer later, the next day,
Yeah.
even go, okay, now that we're calm, can we please talk about this?
Yeah.
And
I
I
love
think he's going to be a lot more receptive, because if he's all up here, it's
that.
not going to, it's just going to escalate,
Yeah.
because
No,
he's not
yeah.
going to be
That's
prepared to listen.
That's actually a really good point. I love that. You're
Mm.
just putting fuel on the fire when you say, oh, look, you're not your best on higher self at the moment. But so, yeah,
Because
just
that's
say,
not
look,
something you want to hear when you're in fight mode, is it?
exactly. Yeah, no, yeah, I love that. Just say, look, you're obviously really angry about this now, and I get it. But I think we need to talk about this when things have calmed down a bit, when things have settled. So I want to talk about it. I'm not abandoning you, but I'm just going to let
Yeah.
you process, and we'll talk about it later.
I think I'd be wanting to also say, honey, can we create some boundaries together that we can both live with, so that when we're challenged again in the future, we are on the same page from the get go?
Mm,
And that hopefully will relieve a bit of tension between the pair of them. If this was to blow up in front of them again, it's like they're both starting from the same place.
yeah, yeah, and do that in the calm moments, obviously not in the car ride home.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
can't build your tent in the eye of the storm. Like
Right.
you don't set up your tent in the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
You set up the tent when the
But
weather's
that's,
calm.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, that's something that I didn't think of. It's not a good idea
Mm.
to address it then when everyone's heart rates are up. Yeah, just say, and it's really important when someone is obviously escalated, like hubby obviously was, really important to, as you say, walk away from in those moments, but make it very clear that you're not abandoning them, because a lot of the time, when someone says, look, I can't talk to you like this, I'm walking away, the worst thing you can do is re-engage and drag that person back into the conversation, because they are not, like, when emotions are high, intelligence is low. So you're going to be saying a lot of things that you regret, because you're in that fight or flight mode. You're going to do anything to lash out and protect yourself in those moments. And that's not going to be that's not going to be a quality conversation. Let's just say.
Right.
But yeah, I think just say, look, I'm not abandoning you. I really want to talk about this, but I think we need to do it from a place when we both had time to cool down.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a really, really good point that you bring up, Milsey.
Mm.
Love that. Yeah. So we've solved the problems of the world
I
once
think we
again.
have. I think
Yep.
we have.
And just know that this will just be the beginning with that mother-in-law. Like,
Oh,
obviously there is going to be an ongoing issue of needing to set firm boundaries, because as soon as grandkids come into it as well,
yeah.
I ain't gonna be there's gonna be even less boundaries then. So yeah, nip it in
Yeah.
the bud as soon as you can.
So yeah, I think if they together work on what they both think is acceptable, not acceptable, and really ground in their own values,
Mm,
that's going to
yeah.
help them a lot. Because they are newlyweds after all. They've only been married a year, so maybe that's just something that hasn't really
Oh,
come up
I
for them.
didn't hear that bit, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I think they at the start it said they'd married about a year ago. So
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
yeah,
that's good. Yeah, nip
yeah,
that shit in the bud, because it's only gonna get worse.
right.
Yeah, if you
That's
let
it.
that fester, ugh, it's
Yeah.
gonna be ugly.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep. It's so interesting, isn't it? How we're so adverse to having uncomfortable conversations. So this mum has obviously gotten away with this for like at least the last 37 years.
Yeah.
And before that even. It's so interesting. Like, I'm like, for those of you who don't know, I'm also a nurse as well, and when patients come in and behave really badly, remembering that this is a strategy, and they're doing it either because they're scared as well. A lot of the time when people come into hospital, they've lost all control of everything, so they are doing it to kind of assert control, but it's all a strategy. And it's like they're doing what they're doing because they get something out of it. So
Yeah.
what's your strategy? So
And
you can.
if you consider them again as a wounded child and they don't know how to react, so protector mode comes out and they act, it's probably they're probably full of fear. So
Mm,
another part of them steps in and says, I got this. I'm going to let
yeah,
them know that I'm in charge and I'm the boss. And then they act, probably
that's it.
badly
Yeah,
because they're protecting a child within them that is scared.
yeah. And even if we delved into the mum's psyche just a little bit more, why
Mm,
is she doing what she's doing? She probably has not, like, what need has not been met in the past that she
right.
feels like she needs to invade people's space and privacy the way
Yeah.
she does. Like, obviously she has felt abandoned, so she feels the need to be in everyone's business.
Insert herself where she
Yeah.
doesn't belong. Yeah.
It might be that whole, significance and importance. Like, she
Yeah.
wants to feel significant and important in people's lives. So she barges her way in instead of waiting to be invited.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a whole, the problem's
Oh,
never the problem. The
fascinating. I know.
problem's never the problem. So,
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
yeah,
Just
but it would
just the
be,
layers. I'm so fascinated. And once you know what you know, you can't unlearn stuff. So when you recognize things about people, it's so
mm,
fascinating. But look, there's
mm.
there's a huge spectrum of
Oh, we could
humanity
dive
that
we could dive into the mum-in-law, we
I
could dive
know,
into
I
the
know,
husband, we could
I
oh,
know.
even
There's a
mother-in-law.
lot of unpacking in that, but I think we've
Yeah.
sort of pretty covered the how to
Mm,
if you find yourself in something similar, there's a few things to, I guess, be aware of in the background, which I hope we've explained
mm,
well enough that you can have that inner voice telling you, oh, yeah, but it's for this reason and this, So do you think
mm.
that, I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, I think so too. I would feel well served if that was me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, I hope anyway, give us your feedback, people. Like, has that been a helpful conversation to listen into, to hear the different layers of the different people involved in that scenario, and has it given you a bit of a deeper understanding of, confrontational situations and understanding some of people's bad behaviors? I would love to know.
I
Millsy
would
would
love
love
to
to
know
know.
too.
We'd all love to know. We'd all love to know if that has helped and if that has served.
Yeah. And if you've got a scenario, you can email us millsandcares@gmail.com. Send
Yeah.
us in a scenario, completely anonymous. Otherwise, we'll just keep finding ones because the internet is a fantastic source of other people's problems.
People love whinging on the internet.
Don't
But
they?
whinge directly to us, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hit
because
us
we'd,
up.
we'd love we'd love women who are listening to us to actually get like lots of value and be able to apply it to their own lives. That would be fantastic.
Yes, for sure.
Excellent.
Well done.
Shall we sign off?
I think we're about done. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
All
now
right.
what? I was actually listening to Mel Robbins yesterday.
Ooh.
And she does this little disclaimer at the end. So we should probably do a
Oh,
disclaimer that, like, we are, we're not counselors. This is general advice only. Don't sue us.
right,
Basically,
right.
like,
Enter at your own risk.
we are your friends. Exactly. We are your friends and we're giving general advice only. This is not professional, advice given to your explicit scenario. I actually remember Wayne Dyer once was sued by someone who read his book, saying that his advice didn't work. Like, she read, like, he has never met this woman in his life. She just read his book, and she tried to sue him. Isn't that
What?
interesting?
Who does that?
Americans.
Right. Or someone who has a wounded inner child that can't cope.
Exactly, and needs to
Oh,
blame other people for their stuff. Yes, so I don't. Some of
okay.
us are Americans. It's not an American thing.
I
It's a
know.
it's a
So
wounded.
litigious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't sue us. Just love us and listen to us. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. We're just like
Yeah.
we're just like your mates. We're just like your mates.
Yeah. Yeah. But
We
we'll
are.
cut through the validation and we'll get to the, yeah. the
Get
good,
to the juice.
the gritty. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, you have a fantastic day,
You
Millsy. Have a
too.
fantastic day, everyone else, our fellow listeners out there.
And we'll do it all again next week.
Can't wait.
All right. Cheerio.
Bye bye.